Like I said, my favorite spot's in Broomfield, where you live.
Shout out.
Four Noses, incredible hazies, which is my go-to, which is my favorite. On that same note, Knotted Root, all they do are hazies, and they're up in Netherlands.
Okay.
So you ever run Mags?
Yeah.
Rollinsville. You got to go through Netherlands from Boulder. So one of my...
And that's a 2-for-1. Best running, I assume, maybe your favorite running?
Worst? Up there for sure, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll tell you what. All you need is one hazy post-Mags and...
your sauce.
Make sure you have a driver.
Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Talking While Running. Very special one today in Boulder with the one and only Golden Gopher, Charlie Lawrence.
Row the boat, Sky Ma. Go Gophers, baby.
Thanks for joining me today, dude. How you doing?
Yeah, well, I'm yourself, man.
Yeah, I'm doing just fine. We just started at Eagle Trailhead. Started the run. We're just going for a few easy miles. And hopefully you'll be able to accompany us and hear us and all that stuff. But Charlie, I kind of want to get into it.
Let's dive into it, man.
From your childhood, honestly, your beginnings. What was life like? You're from Foley, Minnesota. So take us back there, maybe even before running. What was young Charlie up to in Minnesota?
Young Charlie was doing about every sport you could imagine.
Okay.
So kind of grew up, I won't say I was a ball player, but sort of was.
Sure.
Parents were open to kind of doing everything. My dad kind of got a lot from him. He actually had a stint with the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
So he's a D2 All-American. Just a freak of an athlete. My dad could still, one-on-one, if he had to beat me up, or it came to us having a brawl, he could beat me up so easily.
And how old?
My dad's 63.
Savage.
Still a dog. So,
Yeah.
Just kind of, I guess from a young age, was just hyper competitive, and was the first one to race to the gym set, on during recess and stuff, and could outrun all the kids. And
pacer test.
Pacer test. Oh, OG, man.
Yeah.
We're pushing triple digits.
Yeah.
More,
Let's
man.
go. Rack it up.
We're doing everything we can do. So, just hyper competitive, and just found that running I was best at that.
Yeah.
So it's about my competitiveness to that.
How did you stumble on that discovery?
I kind of lucked out with my dad being a ball player, I played kind of, middle school football, basketball, that stuff, a little bit of baseball. Kind of quit baseball and everyone started being able to throw curveballs.
Sure.
So I couldn't hit those. But then my mom actually, she was the cross country coach. My dad was the track coach, and she was the cross coach. So, it's long story short, my parents got divorced when I was in first grade.
Okay.
Got to the point where that was in the fall. So it was either go to cross country practice with my mom, or go to daycare for a while.
Okay.
And wait for mom to pick me up. I'm like, no way in hell am I going to daycare, man. I'm not doing that. So I was in second grade, running with the 7th and 8th graders.
No way.
So from there, it just really kind of grew, and I played basketball through 10th grade, but then I knew that really kind of where I could go.
Wow, that's awesome.
Probably through the highest level Division I wasn't going to be in running. I probably could have played. I played AAU too up through 9th, 10th grade basketball. Loved it, but I could definitely.
Wow. So your mom, did she end up coaching you when you got to high school as well?
She did. She was a high school coach as well.
So we did an interview with Colby Alexander, whose mom was also his high school coach.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting idea to me. What was that dynamic like for you, and how did that go?
It was really unique. So even my dad being a track coach too, and kind of his background. So those two kind of coached, even though my mom technically had the title. But man, it was awesome. I don't say I had a lot of say in my training.
Sure.
There was a lot of you're immersed in it right away.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of pick up, kind of the small intricacies of the sport at a young age, and you go home and practice doesn't ever really.
Yeah,
that's the dinner table. You're still talking about, the race coming up, the race you had, the workout you had.
Yeah.
It's great. So I really tried to I always like to say I've been a student of the sport. I love it. I'm kind of a running nerd.
I love it, yes.
Sounds great being able to just go home and kind of pick their brains.
Yeah. Well, that's unreal. So you ended up going to the University of Minnesota.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us about that. Obviously, you're from there, but, was there anywhere else that you're interested in? I think our user base and community is more around the college-age kids. So if anyone's looking, I'm always interested, what is that sort of looking for schools, and how did that go for you?
Yeah, so I grew up kind of a gopher through and through.
Okay.
Guess going back to my dad, even before that, my grandpa was a starting quarterback for the Gophers in the late 40s.
Sick.
So I grew up going to Gopher games, basketball games, football games, season tickets, you name it. So that was, in a way, my dream school.
Okay.
And really, as soon as Plaz called me, the summer after my junior year, he essentially knew, he kind of knew my background, knew about my grandma, my family's like, we got him. We throw Lawrence a little bit of money. We probably got him. So, probably best advice to answer your question is go where you want to go where you're going to be happy. But with that being said, though, too, I looked at other options. Neighboring Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Very good program.
Shout out.
That Coach Byrne has developed.
Yeah,
Morgan, Ollie, those guys, great guys.
Evan Bishop.
But still hate Wisconsin.
Yeah. Understandable.
But certainly considered it. Notre Dame was on the table for a while.
Okay.
Iowa State. Kind of those Midwestern schools.
Yep. Well, I'm sure the likes of Hassan Mead and Ben Blankenship and all them are excited that you've joined them as alumni. Like, did that play into it as a role too? And also, those guys specifically, but also just, I feel like Minnesota has some good pros.
Oh, look,
do you guys have like a group chat, or do you stay connected with them at all?
Always. It's funny. I was actually just messaging Blankenship last week. We're talking about kind of holiday plans, and he's like, "No way in heck am I going? I'm not going to Minnesota. It's cold."
Oh yeah.
So I'm staying down in the desert.
Go,
but I kind of grew up in the heyday of Minnesota, man. When I was in middle school, it was Ben, it was Hossie, Chris Rumble, if you know that name.
I mean, Will Lear didn't go there, but he's from the state.
Yeah, exactly.
That counts.
It was time. That was when I was in 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
They had won, I don't want to mess it up, but it was 3 outdoor titles in a row and 2 indoor titles in a row.
Yeah.
Might be backwards, one of the two, but I grew up on that in middle school, so
love it.
It's great now to be able to call those guys, some of my best friends. It's great.
And also, so going off of that, kind of a more negative topic, but I do think it's interesting, something we should touch on. 2020, Minnesota cuts the men's indoor track program.
Tough, really tough.
So, for those, I don't know, who live under a rock, like, this is kind of a thing going around the NCAA in the last year, and it sucks. Well, what were your thoughts on your program specifically, and, what's the status of it now, and any thoughts there?
When I first heard of it, that was fake news.
Oh.
I was driving on to a run, and it might have even been like out here.
Yeah.
And it was a screenshot from one of my former teammates, Christian. There's a quick page called Go for a Hole, and it was like, well, when the news finally comes out, Minnesota's cutting men's indoor and outdoor, gymnastics and men's tennis. Long story short, we were able to save outdoor. So
I didn't know that. Yeah.
We're still fighting to get indoor back.
Yeah.
But it's good. We're still pushing through. Couple, I guess, we're using a couple legal resources to kind of see where we can get right now.
Yeah.
But really, a lot of help came from Russell Dinkins.
Yeah, I was going to shout him out. Yep.
Shout out Russell. Also, they just launched the Trackster Foundation. That's going to be great. Hopefully, we can keep pushing.
We'll link all that below.
Because really, I mean, I want to say, like, you see these programs being cut. I remember back in, like, I don't want to mess up the year, but, like, Rice. Cut their program a few years back. And it's like, man, that really stinks. Then I think, like, we're in Minnesota. We're a Big Ten university.
Yeah.
We're safe.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, pandemic hits, and there
Not
goes.
so much.
Yeah, so stuff. We're still fighting, and I know we got good guys like Russell, behind us. A lot of alumni based.
Yeah.
Large donors.
He'll pull out. Yeah, let's give it some gas here. I think we're chilling. Thank you. Do they have an indoor track facility?
We do.
That's what I thought too.
Just
which is even more peculiar.
Just renovated too.
Wow.
Brand new. So
if you want to save money, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Anyway.
and judging we saved outdoor, but
Right.
we cut it initially. Brand new $20 million plus outdoor facility.
Wow.
Opened the fall of 2018. So
That's insane.
gorgeous facility.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned. I'm sure it won't be the end fate for the program, but it sucks. I was looking at your Twitter and stuff, saw that, and wanted to bring it up. Hopefully we can, I don't know, even share this clip or something. Shed some light on that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, pump it up because, like you said, I didn't think it would happen to us, and
Yeah.
clearly, Big Ten, Power 5 school with very historic program.
yeah, and new facilities.
and brand new facilities. So,
Yeah.
it's kind of the cliche, but almost no one's really safe, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
So anyway, let's go on. You graduate, have a heck of a career at Minnesota. I think multiple all Big Ten, at least in cross, something like that.
yep.
You go pro, and I think you initially started in Michigan with Hanson. Am I right with that?
Correct. So, a lot of people don't know this, but I finished up, and it's like my career goal. I'll be happy. I can hang it up. I just want to make the 2020 trials.
Sure.
In the marathon. Just make it.
Okay.
So, actually, I finished up my 5th year. I had 1 semester left to finish my master's degree for sports management, and I had gotten an offer to work full time as a ticket sales rep for Minnesota.
Okay.
So, I was selling full season tickets, partial plans,
Love it.
and group packages for the Gophers while finishing grad school and doing my first marathon build-up.
Right.
Just CIM 2018.
Yeah, which we'll put a pin in that. Come back to.
Yep. So, doing that, doing all through this full-time job in college athletics, which if it was 40 hours a week, that would have been easy.
Sure.
So you're working games, basketball, football, hockey.
Yeah.
You're,
It definitely adds up a ton.
yeah, and the more you're in the office, the more money you make. Like,
Sure.
So, finishing grad school and doing my first marathon build-up. So going back to what you brought up, CIM 2018, 216,
Yep.
12 debut.
Which is unreal, by the way.
Yeah,
I wanted
man.
to get into that. Like, if you can zoom in for a second on that race, like, obviously that grind of working full time and everything somewhat worked, right?
For sure, yeah.
So, break that down. What do you remember about that training?
I look back now, and I don't want to say I don't know how I did it, but it was 4:45 every morning. Alarm's going off.
Oh no!
I'm not kidding you. My alarm is Kevin Gates. I don't get tired. that was it every morning. 4:45.
Really.
Shout out. Well, I don't know if I
Shout it out.
Shout out my ex-girlfriend for putting up with that.
Oh, sick.
Because it was every morning at
We love
4:45.
That is insane. Yeah.
I'm out the door running. In the Minnesota fall.
Right.
Doing that, up to 120 miles a week.
Completely grinder.
Yeah, so, long story short, just ended up off of that training. And also shout out to Plaz, my college coach, still coached me at that time.
Okay.
He wasn't there at 4:45 necessarily every morning,
right.
but weekend workouts, long runs, he was there, so.
Sick. So 216 debut.
Yep.
How the heck do you do that? Like, what's the actual race plan? And then how does it unfold?
Man, I was having dinner the night before with Chris Lundstrom, Team USA Minnesota coach. Absolutely murdering it right now. Those guys are.
Oh yeah,
across
yeah,
the board. Dakota, Annie Frisbee.
Yep.
So,
What, 225 debut, something like that?
226 for Annie.
Yeah.
So, I was at dinner with them. They're U.S. U.S. Marathon champs that year. So they have a dinner before, and it's actually myself, Coach Lundstrom, the Bruces.
Oh yeah.
I was rooming with John Aziz here from Syracuse. You know
Okay.
that name? And then Marty was there as well. So all our debut marathons, and I was just like, you know, what's the goal? I'm like,
We'll loop here?
yeah, we can flip it. I'm like,
Try to keep the story going.
cool. I was like, the goal? You know, Charlie, what's the goal? I'm like, honestly, 218.59. I don't care.
Right.
That's all I want to hit.
I get it.
And so then right away I just turned to Steph, because Steph's been there, done that a million times. Like, Steph, you know, any tips? And she's like, honestly, just easy on the downhills, and no, like, because those downhills will, if you go too hard, they'll just screw your quads up.
Right.
And then you're SOL. She's like, seriously, take it easy on them, and just ready to roll after 20.
Yeah.
That was fortunate, man, where, like, that was the one time where it's gotten a great pack.
Okay.
And we just kind of rolled.
Yeah.
Like, you know, went through, and all I needed to go through was, you know, 69.30. Ended up going through in 68, like 12. Ended up coming back at 107.54-ish.
Dang. That's how you draw it up, really.
Yeah, that's my first marathon. I've done 4 so far. You know, without a doubt, the best executed.
Yeah.
It was really there. There's almost no pressure.
Yeah.
But there's pressure in a way, but not a ton. It was like, dude, just go have fun, race hard for 26.2 miles. So, yeah, that was, again, so my PR to this day.
Yeah.
You know, I've gone out in the last few on pace for striking gold, and,
Yeah.
you know, lost the little trials again. Bit of an anomaly.
Sure.
But marathon project, you know, go out on Olympic standard pace and bonk.
I think you said, though, I listened to your interview, you said, like, that was sort of the day to do it, and I totally agreed with it. I think even Noah and those guys would say, like, that was their strategy, like,
oh, yeah,
just swing for it today, because everything's sort of set up.
Yeah, like, even in 2020, I was like, I just want to, like, get fit again.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get halfway through 2020, there's no races. Like,
I know.
None. So, like,
And
you have a chance to run the marathon project, like an awesome setup flat course by Josh and Ben. You can't not do it. So, yeah, went for it. You know, 211, 212 pace, 318, and you see a 520 and a 530 and a 540. And you're just like, man, like, close to pulling the plug, but it was at that point where it's like, dude, like, finish it out, man. Like, these people put together a hell of a race during a pandemic. See what you can do. So,
well, you'll have. I mean, I think you're definitely just getting started. I'm no data science guy, but I think I can crunch the numbers on that one.
Appreciate that, man.
Well, first of all, I had a couple thoughts. One was I wanted to touch on mutual friend Josh Cox.
Yes, sir.
Because I was doing a little research, a little stalking for the interview. I went back on your gram, and I saw, first of all, the Power Bar hat shout out. And I think
represent, baby.
When you must have signed something with them, and in the comments you referenced Josh's YouTube videos.
Yeah, man.
And so I saw him in like high school and forgot. Went back, watched those. I want to link those. But if anyone hasn't seen them, they're like the most unreal running videos from 13 years ago.
Yeah. If you want to talk running YouTube, running culture, Josh started it. Like,
it's true.
That man is the OG. I mean, you look at his training, like, 1, insane training,
crazy.
But 2, the group, Meb, Ryan himself, I think Ian Dobson was there, like, just
studs.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's so much off that. It's like funny now because we're just talking like we're in Boulder making YouTube videos now. He's literally doing what like these people and us are doing 14 years ago, and also way more hardcore, obviously, like legendary stuff. So anyway, I wanted to plug that, and then also go off of that, like any YouTube or any running sort of people that you follow or would recommend others to check out.
That I follow?
Yeah, maybe the Josh Cox of today.
Right off the bat,
such thing exists.
Right off the bat, shout out Spencer Brown, athlete special.
Here we go.
I'd like to consider myself kind of an athlete special OG. My buddy Nick Golbiowski, who was Spencer's teammate at Georgetown. I was in almost one of the first episodes ever, but I was kind of on the mend with an IT band issue in college. Nick and I were going to do a workout at Minnesota while he was back home for the holidays, but I couldn't do it, and Spencer wanted us to film it to do like a guest special. So Spencer's great. Got a shot at the New Gen crew.
Yep.
Those guys are great.
All legends.
Ben, Reed, Matt, Coop, they're doing great.
Yep. Just Coop went pro too, which is pretty lit.
Yep. Also Trackster. Let's go.
I was gonna force it. One day.
One of the. I remember it was right. Remind me, was it 2018? You did the first Parker series.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Like, I was still. That was like me, like building up for my marathon. First my debut. Seeing those, it's like, damn, that's pretty sick. Like, now it's now we're here, like, really doing it myself. And running with Parker on occasion. So.
Also a legend. A lot of shout outs this episode. I love it. So going off of that too, like, what's kind of on the horizon for you 2022 and beyond? Like, any sort of races, any upcoming, I don't know, anything to watch for with Charlie Lawrence?
We're off the bat, Houston half, January 16th. Yep. So we were talking before first started shooting 5 weeks from today. So hopefully my half PB is long overdue. So, which is actually my first half marathon as well.
Oh, wow.
Right out of college, I was right after Big Tens or regionals. Gary Bjorkland, half marathon up in Duluth, part of the Grandma's Marathon weekend.
Okay.
So 64 minutes. So goal there is
64. Wow.
Love to get, goal is 62 and change.
Yeah.
I think right now 61 is definitely kind of out of the wheelhouse.
Sure.
Hopefully we can get there. Beyond that, 50K championships, February 27th.
Wow.
In East Islip. So I guess beyond that, we're not really sure.
That's a lot though, yeah.
Got to get a marathon probably in the fall. Definitely see myself taking a stab at, I guess technically 50K is ultra distances, but really I think I can kind of push the envelope at 50K. And
also shout out Josh Cox.
Also shout out Josh Cox.
You should get some tips.
No, exactly. It's pretty fortunate to be able to, bounce anything off of Josh or even Des. So.
Yep. You brought it up, not me. Des, what was that like pacing her 50K record as well? I know you did an interview about it kind of more in depth, so
yeah,
we'll link that. I don't want to redo it, but what was kind of the takeaway looking back on that 50K pacing experience?
One, best long run of my life. So, and in great company.
Yep.
Through and through. I'll definitely take his compliment because Dad said she's like enough, or I'm not gonna want to kill you after 3 hours. So if I can hang out with you for 3 hours, so I'll take that. But
that's huge.
Really, it was all Dad's, man. It was essentially just help keep her on pace.
Yeah.
To make sure we weren't lagging, make sure we're clicking off 5:45 to 5:50. She's the consummate pro. Yep. She knows what she's doing. And really, it was just make sure I'm there to keep her company.
Yeah.
So, she's one of the best, not the best in the business.
Right.
So really, my job looked like I had to run 31 miles, but it was made pretty easy by Des, and my pace job looked pretty easy because of the person and athlete that I was pacing.
You're too modest. I think you did all the work, if you ask me. I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, we mentioned a bunch of pros that you kind of look up to and follow, obviously, but is there anyone else that I'm forgetting, or not in the YouTube world, that you're this is the pro that I'm trying to, emulate or even compete with, or anything like that?
I guess, two of the people that are, I guess now both retired. I mean, Ritz is my teammate at Hanson's. So having him out here is great. With him coaching Parker, I'm able to, mix up with Parker on occasion.
Sure.
So that's really great. Then you also shouted him out earlier, Will. Another Minnesota guy. I've known Will since middle school.
Oh, no kidding.
My uncle worked with his dad for 30 years.
Wow.
In the city of Minneapolis. So, that was, so it made the move to Boulder pretty damn easy. So I joke and say, well, I share my Boulder parents, but that's they're big brother, big sister.
Yeah, right. I love it. So we were talking also before, the final sort of wrap up of this, I think we could do you moved to Boulder. What sort of, we could get into the running tips, like maybe your favorite spot, but also non-running, brewery, coffee shop.
Yeah, man.
Like full-on Boulder moves. What's the recommendation?
Well, for beer, like I said, my favorite spot's in Broomfield, where you live.
Shout out.
Four Noses, incredible hazies, which is my go-to, which is my favorite. On that same note, Knotted Root, all they do are hazies, and they're up in Netherland.
Okay.
So, you ever run Mags,
Yeah.
Rollinsville, you gotta go through Netherland from Boulder. So, one of my...
And that's a 2-for-1. Best running, I assume maybe your favorite running? Worst?
Up there for sure, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll tell you what, all you need is one hazy post Mags, and
your sauce.
make sure you have a driver.
Yeah.
So,
right. Well, I'll drive you anytime you need.
hey, there we go, game on.
Send me a text. And then, besides Boulder, outside of this area, what's like your favorite running spot? As we just climb up in this unreal sunset.
Talking outside of Boulder?
Yeah, like, I assume it'll be in Minnesota or, did you ever train in Michigan?
I did.
Okay, so maybe over there too.
You know, I love the Paint Creek in Michigan, right downtown Rochester.
Yeah.
We started at the Duck Pond. It's just like 9.5 miles to a town called Lake Orion, which is where the Hansons have a store in Lake Orion.
We did a video with Parker and Dathan on that path, I believe.
There we go. So, that's a great spot. Crushed sandstone, kind of uphill towards Lake Orion, downhill the way back. Then you really can't beat around the lakes in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Get around to kind of the Lake of the Isles. Well, what used to be Lake Calhoun, Lake Harriet, River Road along the Mississippi. Pretty iconic spots there.
Yeah.
So,
We got 10,000 lakes too, so
we do. We
never run out.
Exactly.
All right, well, Charlie, thanks so much. I want to check on the cameras and make sure we didn't cut early, but
Perfect.
appreciate you for coming out and joining us.
Yeah, man. We'll grab 4 Noses soon. For sure.
Absolutely. I know we'll link all of Charlie's stuff, all the run details on Trackster. You already know. Thanks for watching. See you later. Dip again.
Also, this is tried and true, tested.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.